My name is Terran Vox. I serve as the tactical observer for the Galactic Council fleet. My job is simple. Watch primitive species. Write reports. Drink terrible station coffee. Repeat. For 3 cycles, my assignment was the human system. Yes, humans. The Council called them developing. Translation, slightly smarter than rocks, but still unpredictable. Personally, I thought they were entertaining. Humans argued about everything. Politics, sports, pineapple on pizza. One of their networks once broadcast 2 experts screaming about socks for an entire hour. Naturally, the Council concluded they were harmless. That was mistake number 1. Our closest allies, the Korth Dominion, believed the same thing. The Korth were a proud species. Tall, armored skin, fur eyes, and the emotional range of a malfunctioning vending machine. They disliked humans. Actually, disliked is polite. They thought humans were loud, reckless, and far too confident for a species that had only just crawled off their homeworld. Admiral Kravix of the Korth fleet said something during a council session that still echoes in my head. If these mammals ever become dangerous, we will remove them. At the time, several council members laughed, including me. Again, mistake number 2. It started with the moon base. Humans had built a research station on their moon. Nothing impressive. A cluster of metal domes, solar arrays, communication towers, scientific research, mining experiments, quiet work. 32 humans live there. 32. The Korth Dominion decided it was a military threat. Yes, really. Their intelligence report claimed the humans were testing advanced planetary weapons. When I read the report, I nearly choked on my station coffee. Humans testing planet killers on the moon? Please. Humans couldn't even agree on what to eat for lunch. But the Korth leadership had already decided. They sent 1 cruiser. 1. A Korth warship named Iron Judgment. The captain transmitted a message to the moon base. Surrender the installation. This structure violates Korth security. The human response arrived 8 minutes later. I still have the recording. A tired human voice said, "Buddy, this is a mining lab." Pause. Then another human in the background said something about coffee filters. The Korth captain did not appreciate humor. He fired 1 nuclear strike. The blast erased the base instantly. The moon base vanished in a silent flash of white. 32 humans. Gone. The Korth cruiser transmitted their victory report. Threat eliminated. Then they left. No apology. No warning. Nothing. For several hours, nothing happened. Earth remained quiet. Human satellites moved normally. Communication channels stayed active. The Council concluded the matter was finished. Admiral Kravix even congratulated his captain. Efficient work. Then, the humans responded. At first, we did not understand what we were seeing. Human communication networks exploded with activity. Military signals flooded space. Launch facilities activated across their planet. Submarines surfaced. Hidden silos opened. Orbital platforms shifted position. Thousands of signals. Thousands. My console lit up like a festival. I contacted Earth command frequencies. No response. Then a human transmission finally appeared. It was not diplomatic. It was not angry. It was calm. Too calm. A human general appeared on the screen. Name tag. General Elias Ward. Gray hair. Tired eyes. Coffee mug in hand. He looked like someone who had just been told the printer jammed again. He spoke slowly. To whoever destroyed our lunar station. Pause. Sip of coffee. You killed 32 civilians. Silence filled the channel. Then the general leaned closer to the camera. Congratulations. Several council members exchanged confused looks. Congratulations? The general continued. You just united every human government on Earth. Another sip of coffee. That is extremely difficult to do. Even I felt uneasy at that point. The general placed the mug down. You have exactly 1 hour to surrender the responsible vessel and leadership. No shouting. No threats. Just a simple statement. Admiral Kravix laughed when he heard the message. You see? They threaten. They bluff. The council agreed. Humans had no interstellar navy. No warp fleet. Nothing capable of reaching Korth space. Their weapons were limited to their own solar system. Or so we believed. 50 minutes later, something happened. A human satellite broadcast a message across open space. One sentence. Retaliation protocol active. Then every human nuclear launch site fired. Every single one. Hundreds of missiles screamed into orbit. Council analysts panicked. Are they attacking themselves? No. I zoomed in on the trajectories. The missiles were not targeting Earth. They were not targeting the moon. They were heading toward the outer system, toward Mars, specifically toward the abandoned Korth mining colony on Mars. The colony housed 50,000 Korth citizens, workers, engineers, families. The Korth fleet station there detected the incoming missiles and laughed. Primitive human rockets could never reach them. Too slow, too weak. That was when a second wave appeared. Thousands of small drones launched from hidden platforms around Earth. Each drone carried a guidance module. Each drone linked to a missile. Suddenly, the rockets accelerated. Human engineers had turned their entire planet into a launch engine. Gravity assists, orbital slingshots, nuclear pulse boosters. The missiles became something new, something terrifying. One Korth officer transmitted a message to their capital. We underestimated the humans. He was correct. 10 minutes later, the Martian colony vanished. Not damaged, not disabled, erased. The shockwave was visible from orbit. 50,000 Korth citizens. Gone. Silence spread across every council chamber. Then the humans sent another message. Same general. Same tired face. Same coffee mug. General Ward looked into the camera and said, "That was a warning shot." He paused. Then he added something that made my blood run cold. "You still have 20 minutes. And that was when the Korth realized they had made the worst mistake in galactic history. When General Elias Ward said, "You still have 20 minutes," the entire Galactic Council chamber became so quiet that even the station air recyclers sounded loud. 20 minutes. Admiral Kravix of the Korth Dominion stared at the transmission screen. His 4 eyes blinked in disbelief. The Martian colony was gone, reduced to drifting debris and glowing dust. 50,000 Korth citizens had vanished, and the humans had called it a warning shot. I remember whispering to my console recorder, "This species is insane." One of the council advisors responded immediately, "No, this species is angry. There's a difference." Kravix slammed one of his claws against the command table. "Prepare the fleet," he shouted. Korth warships stationed across nearby systems began mobilizing. Heavy cruisers powered their drives. Defense stations armed planetary shields. Still, they did not believe humans could reach them. Earth was many light years away. Humans had missiles. They did not have interstellar weapons, or so everyone believed. 17 minutes remained. The Korth capital world, Varka Prime, continued its normal routine. Massive cities, billions of citizens, towers rising through orange clouds. Nothing unusual. Then the first alert arrived. Orbital Defense Network. Unidentified objects detected. Not ships, not asteroids. Small objects. Thousands of them. Sensors struggled to identify their nature. They were too small for warheads. Too slow for rail slugs. One Korth scientist muttered something that made every officer freeze. "Those look like cargo pods." Cargo pods? Why would humans send cargo pods across interstellar space? That question was answered very quickly. The pods opened. Inside each pod was a nuclear device, but not ordinary nukes. These were human fusion warheads, heavily modified. Each one carried its own micro-jump drive. Apparently, humans had been experimenting. Apparently, they had succeeded. Instead of sending one massive missile across space, the humans had launched thousands of smaller devices, each capable of jumping the final distance. The devices had spent months drifting through space unnoticed, waiting, sleeping, until the moon base was destroyed. Retaliation protocol active. The moment that message broadcast from Earth, every hidden device woke up. Admiral Kravix stared at the tactical display. Thousands of blinking red markers appeared across the orbit of Varka Prime. His voice finally cracked. "Ow!" No one answered. 15 minutes remained. The human devices began moving. Korth defense platforms fired immediately. Laser batteries ripped through dozens of incoming objects. But there were too many. Hundreds slipped through the defense grid. Then thousands. Each one locked onto a target. Cities, military bases, power grids, orbital stations. One Korth officer whispered, "They planned this." Yes, they had. Humans had quietly placed retaliation devices around Korth territory long before the first shot was fired. Insurance, just in case. And now the insurance policy had matured. 10 minutes remained. General Ward's transmission returned. He looked exactly the same as before. Same coffee mug. Same tired expression. He spoke calmly. "You killed 32 civilians." He raised one finger. "So we removed 50,000 of yours." Another sip of coffee. That was proportional. The council chamber erupted into shouting. Korth diplomats screamed at the screen. "You cannot attack a sovereign world." Ward raised an eyebrow. "You nuked a civilian station." Silence. He continued. "Next phase begins in 10 minutes. Admiral Kravix suddenly looked afraid. Actually afraid. "General, wait." Ward tilted his head. "Yes." Kravix swallowed. "What do you want?" Ward leaned back in his chair. The human general seemed to think for a moment. Then he answered, "Surrender." Another pause, and then apology. Kravix hesitated. That hesitation cost billions of lives. Because while the conversation happened, the devices kept moving. 5 minutes remained. Hundreds of nuclear pods entered the atmosphere of Varka Prime. Defense cannons destroyed dozens. But many survived. The first explosion struck the northern continent. Then another, and another. City after city disappeared under rising suns. The planet began glowing with expanding firestorms. Even through long-range sensors, the destruction was overwhelming. Korth command channels collapsed into screaming panic. 3 minutes remained. Admiral Kravix finally shouted the words. "We surrender." General Ward nodded slowly. "Good." Then he pressed something on his console. Every remaining device stopped moving. Some hovered in orbit. Some remained in the upper atmosphere. Thousands of active nuclear warheads. Waiting. Ward spoke one final time. "Humanity does not want war." His eyes hardened. "But if you kill our civilians, we will end yours." Silence filled the channel again. Then he added one last sentence that none of us will ever forget. "And next time, we won't stop halfway." Transmission ended. The devices remained around Varka Prime for 6 months. 6 entire months. Floating. Watching. Reminding the Korth Dominion exactly how close they had come to extinction. Eventually, they were deactivated. The Korth government signed the largest surrender treaty in recorded galactic history. Reparations, military restrictions, and a permanent apology to humanity. As for the Galactic Council, we rewrote our entire classification system. Humans are no longer listed as developing. They are now categorized as something new. Category: strategic nightmare. Personally, I still monitor their communications. Just last week, I intercepted a conversation between 2 human engineers. One said, "Hey, remember the retaliation pods?" The other replied, laughing, "Yeah, good times." Then the first engineer asked, "Think we should build a bigger version?" There was a long pause. Then the second one said something that made me spill my coffee. "Probably a good idea." I immediately filed a report to the council. My recommendation was simple. Never, ever touch the human moon again. In that day, the galaxy learned a terrifying lesson. Humans may seek peace, but if you push them too far, they become the nightmare of every civilization in the stars.